Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. Ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the ref just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever.
Show us the edge. The chip on the shoulders, the fight and the passion that comes from within. Whoa. Try to win on every level. Yeah. Expectations high. Gotta show them you can fly. Play harder, better, smarter. Baby, put the league on notice. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah, yeah. Whoa, done seen the walk of shame enough. Wanna see the walk of winning, time to come up and bring out the don't every play, every possession. How bad you want it, love you want it all. This ain't a blood of love, built for something greater. Attacking all obstacles, coming for the ring, my precious. You got the juice, the will, the heart, the fire. Show 'em the proof, show 'em the it shall be done. Show me the edge, yeah, yeah, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Bontemps, you can start.
I just don't. I'm still just kind of confused by the summer that the Pelicans
Doesn't sound
had.
like a buy, McMahon.
Well, how am I buying a team that doesn't have a center?
That's my concern.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like they're going to go into the season. They couldn't really get a deal for Brandon Ingram, seems like, in part because of the stupid first apron hard cap in the CBA. When you take in $1 more than you send out in a trade, it's totally botched. It's messed up the trade market.
Yeah, there should really be some sort of wiggle room in there, like $1. Give me a break.
It's a dumb rule that they should change and just have all that stuff hard cap at the second apron, so there'd be a lot more flexibility, at least in this interregnum period where all this contracts from the last few years because of the pandemic are still jamming up everybody's books. But that being said, it seems like right now we're looking at a Pelicans team that's going to go into next season trying to play DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson. That I want to buy that lineup because
you're totally disrespecting Daniel Tice.
They have Daniel Tice. They drafted a couple. They have had an interesting second rounder. Got himself a deal in summer league. They drafted his Missy in the first round. They may even be playing Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Well, my point is, they don't have anybody that you really are expecting is going to play massive minutes for them that you like.
Yeah.
So that lineup is one of the more. I mean, they're one of the more intriguing teams for me in the league. Period. Because I really want to see what they are going to do, because they have to play small and they have to play Zion at center. And I don't know how they're going to get a rebound. I don't know how they're going to get a stop, but they're going to be incredibly fun to watch. But ultimately, I'm going to sell because at the end of the day, I go back to that play-in game and I was sitting at home watching Zion play. And I was like, man, this guy is doing it. He looks awesome. He's wrecking things out here on the court. And then he grabs his hamstring and then he's done. And you can't, as exciting as the guy is, how can you bet that he's going to, when we talked about the injury stuff with the Bucks and Sixers, how can you bet that this guy is going to be out there when it matters?
Yeah, to me, this comes really down to, I mean, everything that you said about their roster challenges and their positional challenges and the Ingram trade challenge, all of that's true. To me, this comes down to, are you buying or selling on Zion?
Right.
And I'm such a huge believer in his talent. And he played 70 games in the regular season this year. 70. I mean, last year. And he's done so many good things, but God, it's hard to say bye when he can't finish the season. I mean, he just can't finish it.
No.
So I gotta say sell, because he's got so much going for him. The other thing is the ownership is not going to spend into the tax. I mean, that's pretty much been established. I'd like to be able to tell you that you can build a great team. And I do think, there was a time 15 years ago where you could win without paying the tax. But for so many different reasons, and especially because they have these legacy contracts that are on the books, Zion's contract, the CJ McCollum contract.
That is the contract that's
it's sitting there for the next 2 years, and they've got to deal with the new rules while having some legacy contracts.
ESPN Prime, jeez.
I know, this is the guy who negotiated the contract, CJ McCollum. He knew to get that deal done before they did the CBA. So McMahon, I'm in sell.
Well, you guys are depressing. You've been infected by Tim's constant tinkling. I'm going to inject a little boost of optimism here.
Wow.
Zion as the center, in other words, Zion without Valanciunas, Larry Nance Jr., or Cody Zeller on the floor. So Zion at the 5 last year. Those lineups were plus 6.2 as a net rating. So that would say, maybe that will work. Now, that's in 366 minutes. It's a lot different.
Not nothing.
Not nothing, but I think it's a lot different than when you can kind of pick and choose when to use it and have it as a tool versus have it as, hey, this is our starting and closing lineup. I really wanted them to turn Brandon Ingram into a quality center. Ingram for
it's not over, but
it's not over. Ingram for Jared Allen made sense in my mind. It did not make sense to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and there's still that rule that both teams have to agree to a trade. And then the one thing with Zion though is a younger Brook Lopez, for example, would be great, because what you really need there is a defensive anchor who can kind of space the floor and let him work on the offensive end. So he's such a unique player, such a massive talent, but I think you've got to kind of be careful with fit around him as well. And let's be honest, like him and Ingram, they're not a terrible fit, but they don't enhance each other. And that's
most nights, no. Occasionally, yes, but most nights.
It's also just interesting that Zion played 70 games last year, didn't really sniff the All-Star team, didn't come close, making All-NBA. Just interesting. If you'd have said a couple of years ago, well, Zion played 70 games, you'd think he'd be in the mix for all that stuff. And it's just he's in a pretty big moment right now. And they clearly have oriented this team to be like, all right, we're going to try to have the best offense in the league, and it's going to be this guy cooking, and that's how we're going to try to win. Because I mean, they're certainly not going to stop people with the group they have. So,
well, that's true. I mean, we haven't even mentioned DeJounte Murray. That was one of the big moves of the offseason. I mean, that's what they're. I mean, the thing I would say, like, Brandon Ingram, at the worst case scenario, he's a $36 million expiring contract.
Yeah.
You could say, okay, well, maybe there's some restrictions on him in terms of the hard capping, et cetera. But like at the end of the day, he's still a $36 million expiring contract, but they can't really afford to take on money, probably, primarily because they're going to have to pay Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy hasn't extended yet, but at some point he's gonna, and they need to reduce payroll medium term to afford to pay him, because they brought in DeJounte Murray at that number, which is over 30 million next year.
Yeah. And so I'm selling and reserving the right to change my mind depending on if something happens with Ingram.
The new.
All right. Shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all being this episode of the show. For all things Pelicans, man, we up in this thing. Much love to the PPR family, the Flocker Nation. Good afternoon to all you guys out there. It's PPR in the afternoon, man. We up in this thing. Shout out to the fam. Shout out to Pelicans Film Room. He put together this skit right here. Always I see a couple of things from that, brother. Shout out to you for posting this video of buy or sell. And this is just some of the stuff that some of these national writers and inside people are kind of going over when you talk about the Pelicans. This is the stuff that comes up. The fact that the fit is off, this type of stuff. Zion Williamson is supposed to be the center piece of the team. We've heard in the past the Zion is the guy that's that and third, but it didn't, it didn't fit, and it wasn't concrete because of the topsy-turvy nature of Zion Williamson being hurt. So he couldn't necessarily be the guy that was there to centerpiece around, because for a great deal of time in his early or past last year that he was simply not there. So Brandon Ingram slid into option number one to be the guy that carried the team in Zion's absence due to injury. But now, the big challenge, as you see the start of the show, Zion's big challenge is then whipping to a great deal the injury situations that have occurred. He played a great deal of games last year, which is it's extremely positive thing for Zion Williamson to do. And Amy Atmore, the physical therapist, and, being with that, maybe that can be a floor in which the Pelicans can build off going into the future, because that's what it's all hinging on, Zion's availability being there. So Zion's big challenge is to whip the injury bug to the best of his ability. And he's been according to Coach Green, he's doing well. He's in great shape. He has more of a focus with his family and all that. So he's in a good space. And the Pelicans are trying to get ready for the upcoming regular season. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate you being in the building. We started the broadcast with that being in the stream. So big ups. Please feel free to smash the like button. And if you're listening via X, hit the retweet button. It helps us out. So in this episode, fam, we're going to kind of go over a few things. We're going to start off the broadcast with this article right here. Shout out to the Pelicans debrief, saying Pelicans have put Zion Williamson in an impossible position to succeed. Zion cannot do what the front office needs him to do this season. So let's see what the writer is talking about. What the hell do they want him to do? Well, Pelicans have reached an impasse. Most teams have their rosters set with 6 weeks to go before training camp. The Pels have to work. They have work to do. They're trying to trade BI and must replace a couple of contributors who departed in free agency. David Griffin and the front office have an ill-fitting roster around Zion, but may not be able to fix it until closer to the February the 6th trade deadline. The addition of DeJounte Murray gives the Pels another ball handler and playmaker. They've lacked a true point guard in recent years, but bringing him in creates a new set of problems. Now there's only one ball for Murray, Zion, BI, and CJ McCollum to share. All four needed to maximize production, and this core four has massive defensive questions.
The Pelicans claim they're building around Zion, but they have put the 24-year-old all-star in an impossible position to succeed this offseason. Williamson will have to play significant minutes away from his best position, and the added workload is not ideal given his injury history. Pelicans need Zion to play 5 with a lacking skill set. Zion's unique. He's listed at 6'6", 284, but few can match his athleticism. Williamson's a nightmare matchup for big men, but guards are easily overpowered. Zion has proven truly unstoppable, and the Pelicans may be ruining that. Let Valanciunas, the Pels let Val go in free agency and have not added a replacement. Daniel Tice is a backup at this stage. Yves is not ready for a starting role, and the Pelicans only have 2 centers and of course, we know they've added Karlo Mekovic, who is in his second year. They also have added Trey Jemison, a 7-foot rim protecting guy. But Williamson cannot protect the rim and a subpar rebounder. He does have a skill set of a traditional big man, and playing him at the 5 creates some massive issues for the Pels. Pelicans do not have a better option, but may regret using Zion for an even bigger reason. Why would that scare people? Well, the reality to me, and I've talked about this before, was the issue with Zion Williamson playing the 5 is his durability issues. We've seen, and we talking about basketball, but a lot of this stuff in terms of the referees don't really hit us until the season start, man. I mean, did y'all see how terribly officiated Zion Williamson was last year? How he got beat the hell up. He hit the ground hard on many nights. Referees wouldn't give him the calls. Does that continue into the new year? Does it? That's a big point of contention for me. Is how are the NBA referees are going to officiate Zion Williamson? How are they going to do it? I mean, he got beat the hell up last year, hitting the ground hard, jumping up with his hands out, his face frustrated. Hey, that wasn't a. Then referees just don't even did it. It's just it was horrible. But if you putting them up against centers and stuff like that, that could be problematic because, like I said before, about the fragility of Zion Williamson. He's yet to play large amount of games consistently per season that you don't want to put him in that role just for you to do whatever. Something else has to be worked out. Maybe against certain people, you might want to see him again because you see sometimes Golden State Warriors might roll out a 5 where they have Draymond playing 5 sometimes, and maybe you can match him up against Draymond or something like that. I could see that happening, but no, not against 7-footers. This play small bullshit it only applies in certain situations. We don't want to play small ball in a position where it puts us at an immediate disadvantage. That is low basketball IQ that we don't need to participate in, as well as switching. Like I've talked about this before, I call it unintelligent switching, which means switch everything. No, we don't need to switch everything. Only switch to advantage. We don't need to switch into a disadvantaged position that helps the competition beat us. That is stupid and unintelligent basketball. So other strategies and schemes have to be created to be able to help this team thrive. So we have to do better, man, especially at the coaching level. All right, so let's finish this up, fam. Zion Williamson's injury is more problematic at center. Zion has played 184 games in his 5-year career because of injuries. He appeared in a career-high 70 last season before suffering a season-ending injury against the Lakers in the play-in tournament. Shout out to Amy Atmore for helping him. Williamson has played in less than 30 contests in 3 different seasons. Locking arms against the league's best and biggest, strongest players adds a new layer to his injury concerns. Boxing out the Joker, Joel Embiid, and every other massive center in the NBA is taxing over an 82-game regular season. Zion cannot afford the added stress on his body. It will open him up to more injuries and put his franchise in the worst position. Pelicans need a center upgrade before training camp begins, and it is a must for the franchise. Zion Williamson showed his superstar potential last season, but it is only unlocked if the Pels can put him in a position to succeed. So far this offseason, they have failed at this job. So that is, I can definitely agree on what the writer, shout out to Tyler Watts for kind of educating the Pel Nation on what's really going on with this team. Yeah, I have my reserves about rolling him out against a Joel Embiid. I think that will be foolhardy. I think only time you should see that center position if it's advantageous. If you have a smaller player similar to Zion, like a Draymond Green or something like that, I can see you employing the 5 with Zion at the 5. But I think it'll be stupid for you to do it against the Joker or these other guys. I just don't think that's the case. And we all agree that Zion can rebound the ball mindset wise. I heard Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal rightfully pinpoint this aspect of Zion Williamson's game, especially Chuck. He says it all the time. He says, man, his rebounds are too low. He needs to be in, and I know, Charles Barkley could be a bit of a putz. So could Shaq at times, but Barkley more so. But you can't dispute his logic when it comes down to when he's talking about that. He's a Hall of Fame undersized power forward. That were playing in the era of really good power forwards like Karl Malone and others. So it's interesting to say the least, but the fragility of Zion Williamson, having him to be healthy and putting him in advantageous situations. The Pelicans basically switching the point, basically switching the point guard by committee to the center situation where you now have center by committee, which to me, if I had the choice between the two, I would definitely choose having a steady point guard versus having a point guard by committee approach. I can deal with the center situation. Now, it depends on how well the Pelicans mix and match because they have several center options they could utilize, the most experienced of which is Daniel Tice, who had a phenomenal Olympic run over there. He was playing really well, but he's not a starting level center. You can get him in there in certain spots. You have inexperienced big men like Yves and Karlo Mekovic that you can utilize because they have two different skill sets. When you say Yves is a guy that still has to learn the patience of a big man when playing because he's a bit of a paratrooper right now. We know that. I mean, you could just say what's up, Yves, and he jumping through the clouds. So I mean, that'll have to be worked on. Karlo Mekovic's offensive game is a little farther along than Yves's game is, and then you have Trey Jemison, who he might not play a lot based on those other names or based on the injury situation, but he's a 7-foot guy that can run the floor and defend the rim. How do you use them? And that's all up to Willie Green. Willie Green has to figure out who these guys are and put them in an advantage to be able to win the game. That's what it comes in. So the center, the Pelicans, if they had a gene smasher, if the Pelicans had their own gene smasher, they took Daniel Tice and they took Yves Missi and they took Karlo Mekovic and Trey Jemison and all put them in the gene smasher and made them one person, then we'll have a pretty damn good center, wouldn't we? But unfortunately, the Pelicans do not have a gene smasher. We got a Willie Green over there, and Willie Green has to figure it out how to do it. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate you. What's up, Michael? Good morning, good afternoon, rather, to you. What's up, Hoff? How you doing, my fam? Appreciate you, brother. Much love to you. I appreciate the work. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And brother, are you related to Herb Jones? I don't know how far I don't want to alert you, brother, but you might be related to Herb Jones. That's you just I'm just throwing it out there, brother. All right. He says, if they ain't going to call fouls, Zion's need to force his will. It's Zion's world. We need a starting center, but we can make it happen until the playoffs. I agree with you on that, man. I agree with you on that, brother. All right. If we're not going to call fouls, Zion. Yeah. And this is the thing. That's what. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He a spirit cousin. Yeah. 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 Right. Yeah. Hey, man. All I can say, yeah, that's my call on the Zion Williamson situation is that's the big challenge for Zion. The big challenge for Zion is number one, they talk about moving him because Zion Williamson can do a lot for you. I mean, he's a big guy who doesn't move like a big guy. He's just a game changer. I think you won't unlock Zion Williamson until you can get him to a point where we can get him to be healthy. Like last year was a big win for us because we got him through 70 games. Unfortunately, he got hurt right when we needed him the most. And that's the most unfortunate thing right there, because it was like not a slap in the face, but he was like, oh man, it kind of let all of the air out of the team, because the Pelicans were on their way to beat, we was going to win that game. We was on our way. Didn't we lose that game to them? I want to say that was the playing game, wasn't it? Yeah. We was on our way to winning that damn game. We would have won that game if Zion would have remained healthy in that matchup. We would have won that game. And then he gets hurt, and then all of the air gets lost. And that's what I'm saying. And this might be beyond Willie Green's abilities, because up till 3 years in, and we know, just like a player, these guys have to develop and get better every year. Willie Green is a guy that at this stage of his career is coming into his 4th NBA season. We need to see, you had 3 years, Willie Green, of making mistakes, doing some positive stuff, but making a lot of mistakes, being stubborn with a lot of stuff you shouldn't have been stubborn with. It's time for Willie Green, man, to really elevate his game in this 4th year. And I'm talking about from a coaching standpoint. He has to get more locked in, dialed in. If he doesn't have the feel for the game that he's exhibited, like we've seen him exhibit in many of these contests through his past years as the Pels coach, you need to get somebody that does, a trusted coach on your side who can, hey man, could help you out with the feel in the game. If you don't have, that's what your coaching staff is for, to kind of bridging the gaps of things that you're not good as a head coach, but you have to take their instruction. So he gets stubborn at times, man, when you don't need to get stubborn. And like I was talking about the DeJounte Murray thing and Willie Green, they're going to have to work together to do this thing the right way. His philosophies, a lot of the stuff that he was utilizing, it has to change, man. He got to change a lot of stuff. He really do. He got to change stuff, because the team is only going to go as far as his coaching ability. He's sitting on top of the team. He's going to have to be a better coach. He has a way talented team to be sitting up there, like 49 wins last year, fam. The Pelicans should have been a 55+ win team last year. Seriously, there were games where the Pelicans had games and just simply gave the goddamn game up. You see, they were easily a 55 win club last year. That has to change this year. He has to change. All right, Master Connor says it feels like Zion is allergic to the playoffs every season. It's tiresome. I know we do not have the best facility for him to be healthy, but I'm tired of the same result over and over again. Yes, indeed. I feel you on that, man. We sit up here and watch this year after year, because it's the promise. That's the heartbreaking aspect of it. It's the promise. Like last year when Zion was playing all those games and we got to the playing game, he was like, man, and how he was just dominating the Lakers. How he would, remember that he knocked LeBron over like he was made of paper mache. Y'all remember that? LeBron was right there trying to take that, stepped in there and tried to take that charge, and LeBron depleted him. He depleted LeBron James. Zion depleted LeBron, and because I kept playing it back, he took him off his feet like he was made of paper mache. And Zion and LeBron is a pretty physical guy, but shit, Zion depleted the piss out of him. He was shooting the ball, attacking the rim, and Anthony Davis was there. He was going over the top of Anthony Davis, completing layups and everything. And then he steps funny, and then he's out of the game. You see him slam the towel, and then he goes in there and don't come back. And then you know what happened after that. So it's heartbreaking, man. It really is. So the idea should be like, let's do the best that we can do in terms of keeping a deep bench and not overutilizing Zion Williamson, but also, having the ability to be able to use the bench more. Like when Willie was talking about restricting his lineups for the playoffs. Why do we need to even do that? Why you need to restrict the lineups? Why we need to go from this to that? If you have a deep team, ain't no need to restrict nothing. Just keep playing the way you need to do and get these other guys on court where they need to be, because you have to protect your best players, and you can't overplay these guys at the wrong time, because we got a fragility issue. We need Zion Williamson. If we're going to have success, he has to be there when the games mean something. You got to be there. 70-something games to get hurt in the playing game, and we on our way dominating the damn thing. And then we just get slapped in the face. So, like I said, man, it's one of those situations where we're going to do what we do. You know, we have to be able to watch it. Like I said, Amy Atmore, Zion's in better shape, but he's the key. It ain't about no Brandon Ingram. Zion Williamson is no disrespect to BI. I like BI, but Zion is the future of the team. You know, that's what it is. DeJounte Murray and Zion is his team. DeJounte knows that. He's coming in here to kind of make sure everybody gets set up the correct way. The writer astutely mentions that the fact that the ball, you know, there's only one ball and he's going to make sure they get it. We don't need it to be in the hands of CJ McCollum because he's a clicker. He'll just be doing all this other shit. That's what CJ does. We can keep him as off-ball CJ. He'll be all right there as off-ball CJ. You might have some defensive issues with him every now and again, but we got personnel if we need to move him around. We're a very adaptable and adjustable team, to be honest with you. We can run a different, whatever kind of lineup you want to go, we can run it. I mean, we can. And we're only held back as far as how far the maturation or the imagination of Willie Green. How far and how better can he be this upcoming year with his philosophies? How adaptable can he be? Will you take more, conversation or information, comments, suggestions from your staff, like Borrego, who blessed Willie by coming back to the team? And many people say, Q, he was out there looking for a job. He went over here, look, went over there, look. But hell, if Willie don't step his ass up, Borrego ain't going to have to go nowhere to get a job. And let me tell you something. The Pelicans under Borrego with all this ain't, man, forget about it. Forget about it with James Borrego. He knows exactly how to run this team offensively speaking. And I'll tell you what, he will not fail where Willie's failed, because Willie's defensive first, which is cool. But you got to be, your calls and all this stuff has to change and get radically different, because the pressure is on Willie Green big time. I hadn't heard that, Connor. I hadn't heard that, bro, about new uniforms this season. But, you know, every year they kind of switch it up. I just haven't heard anything from it. Shout out to you, brother McCoy. Good to see you. How you doing, bro? Yeah, he said, I remember that. Remember that when Zion depleted the piss out of him? Man, we was on our way to winning that game, man. Zion was cutting up in that game. The Pelicans was playing well. And then when Zion got hurt, it just let all the air out of the team. And then they kind of stumbled and suffered their way through the plan. Then turn around, you know, we lost that game. We had to go and see whatchamacallit. We kind of stumbled our way. And I often said to myself, if we hadn't faced the Sacramento Kings, I don't know if we would have been able to beat anybody else. If the Kings was somebody else, because we just had the Kings number. Obviously, we beat the Kings in the regular season. We done beat them. You know, we are mentally dominating the Sacramento Kings. They got a big mental block against the Pelicans. If it was anybody else, would the Pelicans have made it? So it is crazy. Hoffa says Zion was dominating LeBron in that and AD in that game. He was putting on the show in that game. And then he stepped funny. I was like, oh man, damn it. Just when we needed them the most. Yeah, he said this Coach Green last run, we got Coach. I don't know what kind of extension that they said, how much they don't want to talk about the extension. Maybe during the start of the season press conference, maybe we can get some more information, but I probably not. We don't know how many years Willie Green has. We know last year they gave him a secret extension. Griffin got a deal. They gave Trajan one. It wasn't enough because he ended up leaving anyway. And they gave Willie a contract extension. We don't know if it's for a year, for 2 years. I don't know. But if David Griffin gave himself an extension, it's probably for a 4 or 5 year extension. Willie, I don't know. You know, they don't want to tell you. It's sad, though. All right, Master Counter says, yeah, we literally have some chances to make it right. Listen, my thing is this. Like when you look at, and I played the writers, Wendy's, you guy from ESPN, Wendy's, you know, he was talking, you know, advertising and talking about the Pelicans. So shout out to Wendy's, as Wendy's is their number one rep. All I could tell you, man, in the end, is just this. We have a very unique looking team. We got a lot of scorers on this team, veteran guys that can help. It looks well. We do have different centers that you can move around depending on how well you know the team. You can throw multiple different looks. If the starting five does not include Herb Jones, he slides to the bench with Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. That's not a bad bench to have. That bench can beat some starters in the NBA if you think about it. So if you have, let's say if it's the ESPN rendition of hold on, let me show y'all with ESPN South and show their little stuff here they put up here, and this is what they think is going to be in terms of the depth chart for the team. If it's indeed that, then this is actually, let me show y'all here. It is right here. So, I mean, like I said, if this is how they see the starting line, and I don't think it'll be Yves, it'll more than likely be Daniel Tice as the starting center. But Murray, McCollum, Ingram, Williams, and Tice, good veteran starting five. And then, of course, you can move guys around for the center position depending on who the matchup is. And you can have a situation where you can have some goons, a goon or two where, you can move a goon, you know what I mean? Because that's what I've said about the Pelicans. They could use some goons. They could have big guys that you can just throw at centers at times, you know what I'm saying, to wear them down. We have guys that we can throw at you. If we need to throw Trey Jimerson at you or Yves Misi, we got 7-footers that are defensive guys we can roll at you to kind of wear you down, make life hard for you. And then Daniel Tice, who's also a defensive guy who has some offensive game, go in there and do something. Carlo Mekovic, if you need him to. So you got 4 different guys that do different things that you can have, but it all depends on imagination. Now, the second team, like I said, if McCollum, Murray are the backcourt and Ingram and BI and say Daniel Tice is the front court, then if you look at the backups, that's Jose Alvarado, Trey Jones, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Jordan Hawkins, if depending on the fit, Trey Jemison, whoever the centers are going to be. If you want to roll with a center, you can use somebody else. It depends. But you do have a very good bench that you can mix in with the guys. You got Herb Jones coming off the bench. A lot of people not excited about that, but the $30-something million is all your money starting. That's pretty much what it is. All of your big money contracts are starting. You got 30 from what you got. Murray's 26 or 20, whatever it is. That he got CJ with 33 and a third, BI with his 36 or whatever, and Zion with his 30-something, 30 plus million, 33, whatever it is. You got all your money starting. And then off the bench comes Jose, Trey, Herb, Jordan Hawkins in certain situations. Perhaps Yves is there. Perhaps Trey Jimerson is there. Perhaps Carlo Mekovic. You still have Uncle Robinson Earl. You still have him there. You still have Matt Ryan if you need him for veteran sharpshooter ability. You do have those guys. So you have a very decent bench. Not to mention, I don't know if Antonio Reeves are going to play a lot this season, but he'll probably more than likely end up going to the G League or something like that. But he's also there. And then one of the big question mark players the Pelicans did add was what is the two-way player? He's really the big question mark player for me. Is what is a guy like what's his name? I forgot the brother name. Let me see if I can see him here. Jamal Cain. There you go. What does Jamal Cain bring here? 6'6", 200 pounds, defensive guy, also can shoot the ball. This is the question mark player as we get to preseason that they bring in. What could Jamal Cain do for you? What could he be for the Pelicans? And that's where I'll be kind of one of the players I'll be kind of keeping my eye out on as the preseason rolls in is what is Jamal Cain's role going to be? You know what I'm saying? All right. So anyway, fam, let's move on to it and go to the fact now the Pelicans did, fam, release their schedule the other day, and they have a lot of interesting matchups on this schedule, as you can see. And, let's talk on it. Pelicans announced last week. They showed their schedule there. And the Pelicans open the regular season at home at the Smoothie King Center against the Bulls Wednesday, October the 23rd. And then they will head into the West Coast to match up with Portland 25 and 27 and Golden State 29 and 30. The Pelicans will be featured on television 13 bloody times, fam. 13 times. During the 24-25 campaign, ESPN is scheduled to broadcast 6 Pelicans games, which is the OKC game, November the 13th. They have the Denver matchup, February 5, Dallas, February 21st, 2 days. That's 2 days from my birthday. Memphis, March the 9th, Minnesota, March the 19th, the Clippers, April the 2nd. And then TNT will broadcast 3 Pelican contests at Golden State, October the 29th, Phoenix at February the 27th, the Lakers, March the 11th. NBA TV will televise 4 Pelicans matchups: Memphis on the 29th, New York on the 21st, Philly on January the 10th, and Memphis on January the 24th. 19 of the Pelicans' 40 scheduled home games at the Smoothie King Center will be played on Friday, which is 9 times, Saturday 3 times, and Sunday 7 times. Going to be interesting. All home games are scheduled to be tipped off at 7 p.m., with the exception of one Saturday game at 6 p.m. December the 7th versus OKC. Now, 6 Sunday night games at 6 p.m. November the 3rd versus Atlanta, December the 22nd versus Denver, February the 23rd versus San Antonio, March the 9th versus Memphis, March the 30th versus Charlotte, April the 6th versus Orlando. The 2 weekday contests tipping off at 8:30 p.m. November versus Portland, March the 11th versus the Clippers, and Sunday regular season finale scheduled for 2:30 p.m. against the OKC Thunder, April the 13th. Now, New Orleans will host its largest homestand of the season between December the 21st and the 30th when they face New York, Denver, Houston, Memphis, and the Clippers. The Pelicans' longest road trips are 3 4-game stints stretching from October the 25th to October the 30th, February the 3rd to February the 10th, and February the 27th to March the 4th. The Pelicans are scheduled to play Western Conference opponents 4 times each, 2 games, 2 home, 2 away, with the exception of the Clippers, 2 home, 1 away. The Lakers have 1 home, 2 away. Minnesota has 1 home, 2 away. Phoenix has 1 home, 2 away. Sacramento, 2 home, 1 away. And Utah, 2 home, 1 away. New Orleans is scheduled to play Eastern Conference opponents 2 times each, 1 home and 1 away. Now, due to the annual Emirates NBA Cup, each team currently has 80 scheduled contests. During the knockout rounds on days when the Emirates NBA Cup games are not scheduled, which is December the 12th to the 13th and December the 15th through the 16th, the 22 teams that do not qualify for the knockout rounds will each play 2 regular season games. Our formulaic approach will determine the matchups for the 22 games using the group play standings in each conference, which is 5th through the 15th. The losing teams from the quarterfinals in each conference would then play each other in a regular season game on December the 12th, 13th, 15th, or 16th. So, they bringing back a lot of the NBA Cup stuff. And like I said, I think we enjoy watching the NBA Cup stuff because what they were attempting to do was make basketball at that time exciting. Because who's really kind of watching it? You got a lot of the, football, which is, that's tops in the country. You got college football going on. You got pro football going on during that stat. So everybody kind of slide the basketball stuff to the back burner while football going on. So the NBA had the great idea of creating a situation last year where they color the courts, get new, such and such, and it worked. A lot of people started to watch the games. But the thing is, they give them the NBA Cup. The thing is, with the NBA Cup, they got to make it mean something as opposed to some in-season tournament where you just win this useless cup. We don't really hit on nothing, but they have to, in the future, come up with a better idea. Like if you win the NBA Cup, it has to go towards something to help you perhaps get in line to become a help with something in the playoffs, or if it's a tie. But if you win the NBA Cup and you got the same record as another team, you immediately jump to you see what I'm saying? If you're the NBA Cup winner and you match up with somebody and your records are such and such, it might flip the court advantage in your favor. Like you might get you see what I'm saying? The home court versus the another team. You see what I'm saying? It has some kind of way they're going to have to figure it out where it helps teams who win it at that time, because it's a lot of time between when they win it and when the playoffs roll around. So if you win the cup and you're still very valid in terms of your standing, it has to mean something to the playoffs, because the cup don't mean nothing on its own. You got to make it mean something in terms of getting to helping your team get in the playoffs or getting standing in the playoffs. It has to mean something. It has to mean something. All right. So anyway, that's the NBA schedule on it. Fam, what y'all think about the schedule? Are y'all excited about some of these games? I know I am, man. I know it's time for some basketball. We got a little while before we get ready to kind of get into some of this season stuff, man. But it's going to be fun, man. It's good. A long off season for the faithful. The faithful have a lot of stuff going on in terms of long off season. The brand, will he be traded? Will he won't be traded? He want 50 million. We don't want to pay him 50 million. We don't want to trade him. This kind of stuff. It just soured a lot of stuff for the Pelicans, but ultimately we'll see how it all lines up. All right. So big ups to you guys and gals in this thing. All right. So anyway, Rob says, Loomis and Griffin stealing Tom Benson's money. Yeah, it's a shame, man, because Dennis Lauscher is the president of both of these organizations. I've said this before. He doesn't know much about basketball. He don't know much about football. He's just a businessman. I think he is mistitled. I think he's mistitled. I think he should be a guy, and they call Gail the chief financial officer. But maybe he should be the vice chief financial officer in the president position, like slide him out of that, retitle him, or give him the vice chief financial officer or assistant, whatever the case may be, the guy underneath the CEO, which is Gail. So you be a vice, whatever, the vice this or whatever, and then open up the president position for each side of the team, where it'll put somebody there that knows about the economics, that knows about the culture, that knows about basketball, pro basketball or pro football, depending on the Saints and the Pelicans, and let that person then make, changes as they see fit. You see what I'm saying? We simply don't have that because, like I said, both these teams are ran like a mafia team. You just go whatever David Griffin says, and he's a word salad guy. He's a bullshitter. That's what he does. He just bullshit all the time. And I'm constantly calling him out because I don't like bullshitters. I don't like no bullshit. I don't like some bitch running around here spewing a bunch of garbage and then talking and then contradicting himself in the same damn interview. I don't like that. I don't like BS people. I really don't, man. I can't stand BS people. Youngblood says, Q, I don't agree with this Tyler Watts. There is enough talent on this team for Zion to be successful. They have the key to staying healthy throughout the season. I agree, bro. I think what he was saying was he made some valid points, and I hear what you're saying, Youngblood 46, that the Pelicans do have talent on the team. They have a lot of players, might not be the more players at the center position that we're looking at saying, yeah, this, that, and third. But obviously this is a mix and match situation with the center position, right? If we need Daniel Tice to be out there, we roll Daniel Tice out there. If we need a 7-footer out there, we got Trey Jimerson. We have Yves Macy. Pelicans have to give Yves room to develop because they see him as a futuristic option at the center position. And this could very well be. But they have several center players on the team depending on the imagination of how they want to bring these guys out. Like I said, you can have what I call goons. You got a few goons if you need them. You've got Trey Jimerson to go out there and battle with whoever. You can throw Yves out there to battle whoever. You see what I'm saying? You got guys you can throw at guys to slow them down. You just have to move be able to know what skill sets you're looking to use and such like that. Because Karlo Mekovic has an offensive game to him. He's not just a defensive guy he actually has a high flyer. Both of them do. Actually, Yves is a high flyer. He's a lob threat. Carlo's a lob threat. But Carlo's games are further along than each one of these Trey Jimerson or Yves. Trey Jimerson more than likely might not be seeing a lot of action on the court if all those guys are there. And it depends on the order based on how they perform in preseason and how Willie says, yeah, we can use this guy versus this guy. Because the Pelicans can reorganize and readjust themselves according to a lot of different teams because they have a lot of moving parts that you can move around. Like I said, all based on the imagination of the head coach and if they can get it going. But the biggest, that's why the show's talent is called Zion's Big Challenge. The big challenge for Zion is health. He did well last year with 70 games, but then we lose him right in the playing game. We lost him when we at the most dire situation we needed Zion Williamson. We lost him. I mean, not just for a quarter, we lost him for the rest of the season. Because at first people thought that he was going to come back. And then it turns out that he wasn't. But the Pelicans play games like that all the time. They'll tell you, oh, it's not that bad. And then you don't see him no more. That's why I don't like David Griffin, because he the one's responsible for this bullshit with what happens with Zion Williamson, and all of the bad press and the lying and the sneaky sleight of hand nonsense with Zion's injury situation. Like when a couple of years ago when Zion got hurt, the idea was we're rehabbing Zion for the postseason. Well, that never happened. Well, then Zion's supposed to he gonna be ready for the such and such, and when we get to the playoffs, Zion will be ready to go. And then when we got to the playoffs, Zion wasn't ready to go. Then it became, if the Pelicans get through the first series, then Zion will be there. See, that's bullshit and lying right there. You're like, well, Q, they couldn't know. That's a lie. They know they have all of the information. You think them doctors don't know what's going on with the man, and they got several doctors up in there looking at him. They got all this technology. They talk to him, they put him on this, and then they got all the timeline information. They know exactly how long this man is going to be out. They know his injury and how fast he will rehab. They got a timeline is what I'm saying. Excuse me. But the timeline is like what they doing, how they expanded it. I was like, man, it's some bullshit, man. Because it was to sell you false hope that, man, we just have to keep watching it. Zion Williamson come, and he never came back. He ain't come back to the next year. The whole nother year. See, that's some bullshit, man. That's what I'm talking about. If you're not going to be there, say it. And how about the time when Zion got hurt in the off season and he didn't tell you that all the way up until, well, Zion such and such got hurt at the press conference. The whole damn time. The secret extensions. Nobody but a snake would do these type of weird line maneuvers. That's why I don't really like that dude. He does a lot of snaky shit. Nobody signs secret extensions and don't report them unless you sneaking around. You're not supposed to be doing it. This is just keeping it real. Sign that shit out in front of everybody. Like when they inked Zion Williamson, they had all them children behind him. Y'all remember that? He was smiling. He was smiling his ass off because he was about to get paid. All I'm saying, man, is in the end, man, don't play no games with us, man. We don't like that down here. Don't come down here with that fake shit, man. That's why we do what we do. All right, Steph says, I agree with you, Q. The NBA Cup is it gotta mean something for it to. Who cares about the NBA Cup? A young team like the Pelicans who haven't won anything, of course they're gonna want that. But only the teams that haven't won anything. You think Golden State or some of the teams that have been perennially in the playoff hunt really care about some NBA Cup? They don't care. They play the games because they're trying to get the wins to stay in position, but they don't care about no NBA Cup. Pelicans and young teams that hadn't won nothing like Orlando and all them, they might care about it because it'll be something like Zion said, man, I will love it. And I would say it too. If there's a cup out there for the Pelicans to win to help build them some confidence, go and get it. But some of these other teams, they don't care about no NBA Cup. They play the games because they're trying to win the games to keep them in position. So when the playoffs roll around, they'll have a high seed. But yeah, it got to mean something. Winning the NBA Cup, just like, here you go to the NBA Cup. No, it got to mean something to things that mean something. Right now, it's a useless item that can't help you do a damn thing. Nobody cares about the NBA. Let's say we get 10 years into the future. The Pelicans was the second team in the NBA history to win the WNBA Cup. Who cares? In a league where people don't care about the loser of the finals. Do you care about who the finals loser was? No, you only remember who won the championship last year and the year after that, year before that. Nobody cares about the losers. Who cares about the NBA Cup? It has to mean something, it has to tie to something to mean something that means something. You got that? Yeah, that's what it has. You got to tie it to the playoffs. Something that means because they're fighting through the regular season to get to the playoffs so they can have seeding so they can win a crown, an NBA championship. The only cup that matters is the NBA championship. That's what I'm talking about. Steph says, do you think the centers on the roster can make? I do think some of these guys can help out because Daniel Tice can help out. Yves has to develop. Carlo Makovic is talented. And Trey Jemison is a defensive guy right now who's a 7-footer that can run the floor and shot block. He's very good defensively right now. Offensive game need a little work. But in the end, the only issue is, can the Pelicans get all of these guys together. And Willie, and this is aimed at Willie Green. He's the head coach. His job to make sure these players succeed. It's up to Willie. It's Willie Green's job. So coming into preseason, he have to be able to give all these guys an opportunity to see what they can do. Jamal Cain and all these other guys. They signed Jamal Cain, 2-way deal, I think it was. So he's here. I don't know what Jamal. I seen some footage on Jamal Cain, but how did the Pelicans choose to want to use him? Or is they bring, because you still have Matt Ryan here? You know, they have to figure out who the rotation is. That's what I'm saying. We have a team that has injury issues, right? Our two biggest players, whether it's Zion or BI, have issues. Both of them was hurt last year at different points, right? When Zion went down, BI was rehabbing. BI had to come back, and you usually take BI anywhere between 8 to 10 games before you start seeing regular BI. That's what it does. That is the truth. Go look it up. 8 to 10 games. I was talking to an old Pelican man about this. Shout out to him. Man, him was having this dialogue. And we was like, man, yeah. And I was thinking, I said, you know what? That's how it really goes. You got to go and look it up. 8 to 10 games before BI looks like himself. And that wasn't the case. So when you have injuries like that, you got to rely on your bench and bring guys in. That's why I was saying last year that Jordan Hawkins, if he had played extra minutes toward the back of the season when he was supposed to be getting minutes, where everybody was saying, hey, Willie, what the heck are you doing? Play this guy. And he was benching him. That hurt his development that year, because you could have used those minutes that he was getting to help him this season, so you could trust him a little bit more. He could lead into this season where you can help him. Shouldn't be a situation where you see that guy sitting as much as he is, and he a shooter, a really good one, a young shooter that he called Baby Ray Allen. But you benching Baby Ray Allen, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Willie Green, and I like Coach Willie. Y'all know that. But Coach Willie has to show a higher IQ, less stubbornness, more adaptability with this team. If we see, because this team is good enough to have a deep playoff run. It really is. With health, this team is a team that can have a deep playoff run. These people really cautious about not saying NBA championship down here. Oh my goodness. It's like hexing some goddamn body if you say the Pelicans are a potential NBA champion. And I'm sitting up here saying to myself, man, the Pelicans could be a finals team with health and smart leadership at the head coach level, knowing your team and doing the right shit. Don't need to shrink we're going to shrink him to 8 people in the play. Why? Don't do that shit. After a long season, you don't need to shrink shit. Keep the lineup long. Discover 9 to 10 guys, go 9 to 10 guys deep and use them like you're supposed to. You don't need to shrink nothing, especially with a team that has injury issues. What you shrinking them for? You know, that's just, to me, that's what I'm saying, man. We got to, if you don't get it right this time and this team marches back with the pressures on him big time, and David Griffin ain't going to fire himself. He'll fire Willie before he fires anybody. I'm going to be honest. Ain't nobody else left to fire. Trajan Lane to say, I'm up out of here, bro. I'm in Detroit now. He ain't going to fire Bryson because he just got here. You can't blame him for shit. So who's the next head on the chopping block, baby? Willie, you're officially on notice. If he ain't tell you nothing, you don't notice. Don't trust them octopuses, boy. All right, what's up, Jessica? Shout out to you. Good to see you. I appreciate y'all chiming in, man. Big Sean, what's up, bro? So I totally agree with the title of the article in the background. Okay. Thank you, Sean. And Sean's a Spur man. So Sean just got done with the Spurs post game report, and he's here watching the Pelican post game report. Shout out to See, Sean, you can appreciate that, brother, because that man used to play for your damn team. But you see, hey, bro, y'all put one in the chat. Y'all seen Leonard up in the club with that girl on him, that old girl on him? Y'all seen put one? Hey, y'all put one in the chat if y'all seen that, man. Don't try like we ain't in church right now. Don't tell me y'all seen that when he was up in there. And that old, he was in the club, and that old girl was shaking around in front of him. Yup. I bet you he was saying this as it was happening. He was going like this. Oh, man. All right. Cap, what's up, Cap, man? How you doing? Sir says, so you agree with keeping BI? Yeah, you got to, bro. I would have preferred to trade him to get a center, more of a solid center option, for Brandon Ingram. But at this time, you have to make the best of the situation. I wouldn't say it's a bad situation because a healthy Brandon Ingram what kind of changes things a bit is DeJounte Murray. That's the big part of it. DeJounte Murray is the table setting point guard for this team, which means everybody in their role, right? And as long as that happens, we don't have to operate point guard by committed through Zion or point guard through committed through CJ or BI or Herb bringing up the ball, or it was Najee Marshall bringing up the ball. Everybody, I mean, it's no offensive synchronicity doing that kind of stuff. If you got a guy that handles the ball, operating at the point guard position, that can distribute, play defense, and set the table, that's a game changer. So you have guys, it puts everybody in their proper place. It makes CJ off ball, keeps him there where you've seen off ball CJ really thrive. It does keep the ball out of Brandon Ingram's hand where it slows down the game. So it puts it in a trusted players, not just anybody, because these guys can't then, or BI or CJ can't then pressure DeJounte to say, hey, man, you need to give me the ball. He's not going to go for that, man. He ain't going for that. Plus, what it does give you an intelligent player that been places, that was mentored by one of the best in the business. And I ain't going to say his name because we got a guy here that would then say something about the team. So I'm not going to give him that. But he has a high IQ. He's been around the block. He's a veteran that wants to win. And he got a dog in him. All that shit we need. And one of the biggest thing with DeJounte Murray is he a dog. The Pelicans at many times of the year last year wasn't a dog. The only guy that was showing a lot of those doggish attributes was Najee Marshall. Like when he put his hands, on Jimmy Butler. Y'all remember that? Jimmy Butler was talking that shit. And Najee Marshall says, listen, brother, I'm from the church. Let me lay hands on you. Let me get that devil out you. So he laid hands on him, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, but you got guys like an energy bug like Jose Alvarado, but we need dog mentality. CJ McCollum and all these other guys, BI and Zion, they don't consistently bring that mentality. They're nice, laid back guys, and we need somebody with some fight in them. And that's what DeJounte Murray is. His upbringing, his mentality, a tough kid. He's coming in here and he got a point to prove. So, I mean, he's a solid, he ain't no young guy that, he's a veteran guy, a respected vet with that mentality. That changes a lot. So that's why I say with the BI thing, we got to roll with the BI thing. You're not going to see anything happen with that. And if the Pelicans say, they can go two ways. Only two ways it's going to go. Actually, three. And that's number one is if BI changes his money demands to make him more likable, that might be something there where he signed a contract with the Pelicans and then the Pelicans can then move him, trade him and move him. But I like BI, but I would rather have Trey because Trey Murphy's the future. You got a timeline there, and it all depends because you ain't gonna be able to pay everybody. But if BI lowers his trade demands, that makes it easier for them to kind of do a contract where you can then trade him to where he wants to be or where you want to go to get value for him, and then you can move Trey there. There is a reality somewhere where the Pelicans could elect to keep Brandon Ingram and trade BI. That's not something I want to do because I think Trey fits better there, even though BI is a better player. But Trey fits there better because he's a shooter that, you need space and, there. So y'all know this. We talk about this all the time. But in the end, there are multiple realities that can go. And then the other two is the Pelicans could trade Brandon Ingram, or somebody would just say, you know what, I'll take his contract right now. We're not going to do nothing with him. We'll just take the contract. And then when it expires, then we'll just fall off our books and we'll have added money. Somebody can do that leading up to the trade deadline or right at the trade deadline. All the Pelicans is just keep Brandon Ingram all the way through the season and then let him go like they did Valanciunas and get a perceived second round draft pick that will never manifest into anything. And they say, well, we did do something. We traded Val, such got a second round pick. Snake oil salesman. I keep telling y'all that, man. I'm telling y'all, that dude be listening to these shows, man. All right, Cap says Celtics won the title with an aging center who was not a starter. We kind of similar. Yeah. I want a championship here, man. The Pelicans have championship level players. If Zion Williamson stay healthy and keeps developing and plays into the plan, or no, I don't want the plan, but if he can get into the damn playoffs and stay healthy, man, we got a shot. We really do. If we can get all of these guys healthy into the playoffs with DeJounte Murray leading them and them playing high IQ basketball, the Pelicans are a threat. They really are. Now, I know a lot of people don't talk about the Pelicans being a championship team, but reality is that if they can stay healthy and Willie, and that's a lot. That's a lot because we asking for stuff that we haven't seen them do in large proportion over the last several years, which is not saying that they can't do it, because Zion gave you 70 games last year where what was his highest before that. So he went way above what he was supposed to be. And a lot of that was in his hands, too, because he would come report to camp out of shape, eating hamburgers and shit. So you can see now that he's more serious about his health. You got Amy Atmore there that's really working that thing out, too. And then it's all based on lineups that help that. Like if you can have Zion and those guys that are around playing a certain amount of minutes and you mixing your bench in there, doing stuff like that helps them guys and not restricting it and putting pressure on them toward the back of the season when we get in the playoffs talking about restricting the lineups. Why are we doing that? It's low IQ basketball, man. We don't need to restrict no lineups when our players haven't exhibited the ability to consistently stay healthy. Why are we restricting lineups? You're hurting yourself. I mean, this is common sense stuff. Yeah, he says, he said, I like how you put the run the best. He said, I like how you put that run the best nine. Yeah, bro, we don't have, and that's the thing. You can even have 10 players, like I showed y'all the lineup. There, you can easily pick out 10 players that you can cycle in, 5 starters, 5 reserves. That's balance. We don't have to go 9 players. That's Willie Green doing that shit because it takes work for you to constantly be on your game to know which players you need to cycle in and cycle out. That's on Willie. He calling the rotation. You can't over rely on players all the time, especially when it's a long season. And factor this in, because we're not thinking about this right now, is the fact that how would they officiate Zion Williamson? I said that early in the show. Like, remember how he got beat up? He got beat the hell up bad last year, falling on the floor and everything, knocking him on the ground, tripping him, pushing him. And then the referee stood up there, and him fussing, pointing. Willie Green standing there with his arms folded. I'm not going to get no turn. I'm not going to get a tech. That I'm going to try to keep my money in my pocket. Bro, no. Don't do that shit. Get thrown out the game. Bitch and complain. Bring press to how the NBA is not officiating your player. You want change to happen? Start bitching and complaining at the referees. Get in their face and complain. And if they throw you out the game, I'm pretty sure the Pelicans players will pay for your fine. Zion ain't going to let you not. He ain't going to. You got to pay for your fine. The players will pay for your fine because you did it for the team. I'm trying to keep my money in my pocket. Well, man, nobody wants to play for no coach that think like that, bro. They want to know you asking these people for all that. And of course you paying them. But if you want another level of dedication, you have to step the F up when it matters. And if it costs you some money to do it, then so be it. That's the sacrifice you have to make to get the team to the next level. That's simply what it is. Sitting up there with your goddamn arms folded up and Zion falling all over the floor and they ain't give him the call. That's some weak shit, Willie. That's some weak ass shit, man. You can't get people to respect you, man, if you're not willing to go all out for them. Come on, man. Well, how old are these people, man? What's up, Yakeem? Shout out to you, bro. We don't need to restrict nothing. Just find 5 good players, 5 starters for 5 reserves. Am I making sense here? That's how shit was designed. It's designed. You have 5 starters. You can't get away from that. You need 5 reserves for the 5 effing starters you got. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because not everybody can play loaded or extended minutes every night. Some nights when they're cooking, you won't leave them in there, but that's not every night. 5 starters for 5 reserves for 5 starters, fam. That's balance. You can't get around that. Some teams, they use smaller amounts because they're less talented. But if you have the Pelicans who can go 10 deep on any night, You could do it. The majority of the time you play, you mix the guys in. And the reason why I'm saying that is because our guys suffer injuries. You need to use the reserves to lighten the load. And it's not like we don't have talent there. You get what I'm saying? Sean says, old Jerk Sky, you really I messed up when y'all let JV walk. Bro, man, listen, bro. That's on Willie Green, man, because Willie Green was not using Valanciunas. He wasn't using them. Even though Val was there every night, he didn't miss no games. He was the most reliable Pelican you had. And he got, what, $10 million a season? That ain't breaking the bank. Shit, he left here, what, $15 million. He went backwards, $5 million a season. Hell. So it was about money. He got $10 million for 3 years, $10 million a piece, or $30 million for 3 years, $10 million a year. He went back $5 million a season. The Pelicans couldn't afford that. They didn't know what he was wanting. Well, if we let the market dictate the value of the player, oh shit, that's a $5 million discount on a player. We were paying $15 million. We can do it for 10. Let's go ahead on and see what we can do. Hey, Val, you want to come back? Val's like, nah, because I don't think y'all going to use me. I'll go somewhere where I'm wanted. Because he wasn't Willie Green sitting the goddamn man, running small ass rotations. That's the problem, man. That's on Willie Green. He wasn't using them. And then the crazy part is the Pelicans signed Valanciunas like they didn't know what they was getting. Like, we knew Val wasn't a fast guy. So you over rely on Larry Nance. Then when Larry gets hurt, you put Robertson Earl in there. It's just I don't know, man. I don't know what's going. It didn't make any sense to me, man. You got a $5 million discount for Valanciunas. All right. Cole Chillin says Healthy Zion can bring a ring to the center. Yes, indeed, man. We got to get him. That's why we talking the rotations and Willie Green, man. 5 reserves for 5 starters. People want to try to talk, well, it's the new NBA. And it's still injuries. Unless you eliminated injuries forever, you still need 5 reserves for 5 starters. The 5 reserves balance the minutes because you should know how many minutes your players could play before they start getting into the area where there could be some issues. Because a lot of times injuries happen to players that are fatigued. That is a common thing people know. So if you recognize that as a literal medical fact, because it is, a lot of not all of them, but a great deal of injuries happen out of fatigued players. Player fatigue shouldn't be an issue with the Pelicans, with how many players that they have. Fatigue shouldn't be a problem. You're supposed to know exactly how many minutes you can play these guys. That's when you're serious about winning some shit. That's when you're serious. When you start overplaying them, that's when stuff started getting all murky. All right. He said best thing JV did was walk dude was one trick pony soaking up minutes for the young guns. They had nobody behind him, but Willie Green did not use Valanciunas, man. Valanciunas could have gave you a double-double every night, but he wanted to run and move. Do you have a run and move situation right now? You got centers that can run. Yves can run. Carlo could run. Trey Jimerson, I doubt they use him as much, but he can move. Daniel Tice is well conditioned, even though he's an experienced veteran, but he's a smart guy. He can move, but a lot of skill missing there. So, like I said, I would rather have it like this if I have to have it like this. You get what I'm saying? Like last year, we had to deal with point guard by committee approach. That to me sucked because you couldn't really get a good rhythm offensively speaking. And then when the game comes down to the thick minutes of the game, then you guys don't know who's going to take the shot and all. It was just confusing. At least this way, we got a guy that knows how to situate everybody so that we can have some type of success in DeJounte Murray, who's seen it, that's been there and seen it. Sean, you know what DeJounte Murray going to bring to the Pelicans offense, man. Come on with it. Tell the truth. You had him up there with the Spurs. You know what he going to bring to the Pelicans. That's why you're scared. We're going to smack. We about to knock them. We've been knocking the Spurs. Well, they won the last one, so I can't talk too bad at Sean, but Sean know what time it is. Yeah, Yakeem says cheap ownership affects us as well. Affects us fans as well. Indeed, man. Yes. Doc says always said he killed us on defense. Loved his offensive game, but that's where it stopped. Yakeem says we want a championship, but don't want to go into the luxury. Exactly. We covered that on the last show when we did the luxury situation. The Pelicans are not going into no luxury, bro. They're not going to do that. That's a no-no because they all about the money. They're all about the money. I think the Pelicans are estimated just under $5 billion as a franchise. The Saints is, I forgot, 7 or 8 bill. Might be 6 for the Pelicans. I forgot. But these franchises are worth billions of dollars, and it's all about making money. That's what it's all about. It ain't about winning no championships. Then you don't hear them talking about winning championships. We trying to win a championship. That's the opening statement of the press conference. Listen, man, we got a good team here. We won't win a championship. Let the coach and the VP/general manager, let him come out of his mouth and say it. He won't say that. Won't say, yeah, we trying to win a championship. It's all about championship basketball in the city of New Orleans. We trying to bring a chip to the city. Start talking like that, speak it into existence. Let it manifest and materialize throughout the entire city. They let them write articles on David Griffin said the Pelicans want to win a championship. They won't bring the title home to the city of New Orleans. Start talking like that. Start throwing it out there more, man. That's how you need to be talking. We want a championship. We deserve a championship basketball. We got players that damn near unstoppable. We got Zion Williamson. There is no matchup for Zion Williamson. The only thing that has beat Zion Williamson over these last several years is himself due to poor health. That's been beating him. But when he's out there, like the Lakers playing game, he dominated the Lakers. LeBron couldn't do nothing with him. He was scoring over the top of Anthony Davis. That's the only thing that has stopped this. And if we can get him beyond that, man, you can't tell me that the Pelicans ain't having deep playoff runs here. Come on, let's talk this stuff. Talk championship basketball. Michael says, yeah, you have to pay the tax a few times to really win. They're not going to do that, bro. Sean says, Castle will lock Murray down. Oh, that now you flipping on DeJounte Murray, Sean. That's pretty bad there, bro. That's bad. That's bad, bro. After all the good years, see how the San Antonio, hey, family, look how San Antonio Spurs people do you. Look at that. You see what they do? DeJounte Murray gave them good service for many years. And look what they said. That Castle, some rookie, I like Castle, but he a rookie, will lock Murray down, no worries. See, that's messed up, brother. You talking like that. I was trying to look for a vote of confidence about DeJounte Murray. Keep it real. But that's how you San Antonio Spurs folks are. Shame. And here go another Spur. She says, man, Q, y'all ain't fixing to do nothing. See what I'm saying? These Spurs, oh my goodness, these Spur folks is cutting up in here. That man, Q, y'all ain't fixing to do nothing. Oh, hey, Q. Yeah. That's it. See that? Hey, fam, they can't, the old Spur folks can't keep it real. I'm asking for a vote of confidence about DeJounte Murray, and they talking about Castle, some rookie, gonna lock DeJounte Murray up. Man, cut it out, brother. All right, Doc says trade BI, but want to keep JV. Bro, and the thing is, like, when we seen during the season, it would change my mind, because I like Valanciunas, but he didn't fit the system that Willie Green wanted, which asks the question is, why did they trade for Valanciunas in the first place? We knew that he wasn't a fast center to run whatever they was going to try to run. So why did they do that? Why they keep getting players that don't fit the idea of what Willie Green is trying to do? Why they keep doing that if that's the case? Because the only thing Willie did was embarrass Valanciunas by sitting him on the bench all that time. Man was like, man, I'm out of here for $5 million less than what he making. It's just more. And of course, BI, the thing is, I understand the BI thing. They don't want to pay. Brandon wants $50 million a season. That's what he's asking for. He's not backing off of that demand. Pelican says, listen, we love you, but we don't see you as a $50 million a year player. It's only two ways this thing's going to go. Either you're going to get traded, or we're going to keep you until your contract run out. That is only simple shit that I can put. That's the most simplest way it can go. Because if you tell me, listen, man, I want $50 million a year. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I hear you. And people in hell want ice water. And listen, we don't see you as a $50 million player. We love you. We appreciate your contribution. You got 1 year left on your contract. You're making $30+ million a year. So there's only two ways it's going to happen. Either they're going to trade him, maybe not now, between now and the start, between prior, let's just say prior to the trade deadline of February the 6th. Right up to that point, Pelicans going to be looking at trading him, or they just keep him and let his contract run out. That's only two ways they can do this thing. Two ways. Now, there's a few other little side B's, but I'm not talking about it. I'm not going to get all up into that, man. But the two biggest things is that's what it is. What's up, Snakebite? How you doing, fam? What's up, Kai? Shout out to my brother Kai, man. Good to see you in the chat. Snakebite, big ups to you. Cap says, Spurs, y'all know we got y'all number. Yeah, you see that? Didn't even, when I asked, I said, listen, I asked for a vote of confidence. And Tasha and my dog Sean wouldn't even say nothing about DeJounte Murray. And DeJounte Murray did not leave the Spurs angry. He left the Spurs. The Spurs traded DeJounte Murray. He didn't leave with a sour taste in the Spurs people's mouth. He didn't. See, and I was like, hey, man, y'all had him for a couple of years. Drop some game. Y'all know who we got. Man, Castle gonna lock him up. What? No, he's not. You putting a lot of that on them old rookies, bro. It won't happen like that, my brother. It won't happen. 504 Coach says Zion's a great position to seed. It's all up to him. He got everything he needs. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you there. 504 chilling. Big Sean says Q. We made Murray. Now we get to have fun breaking him forward. See, that's wrong to say that. See that? We made Murray. Popovich made. Murray was talented before. Don't get it twisted. I seen his highlight film. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it. I did extensive research on DeJounte Murray. I seen DeJounte Murray's high school film, and I seen a lot of his college stuff. DeJounte Murray had the natural ability. He was already tough. He had the dog mentality. He had all that. Y'all had him when he had that Ralph Transvani ass flat top. But he was doing this thing though. The dude had talent. He was a big guard he could play off guard. His defense was a part of his game. Offensively gifted, just a solid overall player, smart player that want to win. And that's what he said in the press conference. Like, he lit up the building when he was in there. And he comes in, I want to win. I want to go to the next level. He didn't do it with the Spurs. He didn't do it with Atlanta, even though when Trey got hurt, he was the one leading that team and they had success. And now he's gotten to a point where, you know what? I'm back at the position that I like to be at. I don't have to play off guard. I'm a point guard. And now I can really take it to the next level. He can really take it up to where he's supposed to be with the Pelicans. Because to be honest with you, the Pelicans team is more talented. This is the most talented team he probably played with. No disrespect to the Spurs. But if you look at the team he had with the Spurs, you got to say what the Pelicans have in terms of veteran ability and bench and all that type of stuff, that this is by far DeJounte Murray's most talented team he's played with between the Spurs and the Hawks. Got to be. In my opinion, I say yes, it is. All right. Yeah, he says not a 50 million. Yeah, he's not 50 million, bro. There's only two ways it's going to go. He's not. He's not a 50. They're not, and they're right for that. He's not a $50 million guy. But if you're a BS bullshit artist like your VP is, then you will come out and says, this type of stable, well, the market was hot, red hot. People wanted them. And then, the market dried up and then we didn't really want to trade him anyway. So if your VP tells you he didn't want to trade him, then what's the route they're going to go? They're going to keep him until his contract run out. We didn't want to trade him. Man, get out of here. If a team wants Brandon Ingram, they'll take him at his current salary and simply just allow the money that the contract is to expire, and they'll get it on their books, and Ingram just goes into free agency. They do that all the time. That's a common move on an expiring contract. Hey, we'll take that expiring deal. That's 30, whatever BI making now. $30+ million. Expiring $30 million? Shit. Clay Davis. So, I mean, in the end, man, I'll take that, that expiring deal, you get that back on your books. That happens all the time. That's a common strategy. Sean says, oh, no, Murray needed that G League time before he could even step foot on the big car. I hear you, brother. You just don't want to get a man no credit, brother. You don't want to give him credit. You don't need no G League time now. He fully realized is his DeJounte Murray ultra instinct, and Sean and them are terrified right now. They're trying to downplay the brother because it's in trouble. They're in trouble. Spurs are in trouble, man. Everybody going to be smacking around the Spurs in the Southwest Division, man. It ain't gonna just be the Pelicans. The Dallas Mavericks gonna slap the Spurs around. The Houston Rockets gonna slap the Spurs around, and let's see who else we got. The Memphis Grizzlies is gonna. Yeah, everybody gonna be smacked. Everybody gonna be smacking the Spurs around in the Southwest. Kai says it's gonna make a break. He said, "Is this a make or break year for Willie Green? Love and respect him as a person, but as a coach, if things don't turn around or if we go any further in playoffs, could be on it." Yeah, he's the last guy. You're not going to get rid of David Griffin. David Griffin, if there's you have 49 wins, the Pelicans have to match that 49 to go beyond it. To be honest with you, and the thing is, the task is difficult because Willie's coaching in a very loaded Western Conference. A lot of the teams in the Southwest Division are getting better, for the exception of the Spurs. You got Memphis did what they did. They'll get all of their guys back healthy, so they're going to be a force. They're well coached. Houston, with Ime Udoka running the team, was showing success last year. Remember, we had the show we talked about, man, what's going to happen with Houston? Houston is going to be, I told family members, I said, listen, Houston is about to fall out of here. They're about to start losing games. Remember that? And people are like, oh, no, I don't know. And what happened? Houston started falling out losing. Because Ime Udoka is a really good coach, but he's, you add people there in the system, they'll get better, they'll improve. Dallas showed you what time it is. They made in-season moves that were able to push them deep into the playoffs. So Dallas is showing something. So you have other, in the Southwest, and then outside the Southwest Division, you got other teams that you have to watch out for. Perhaps Denver, perhaps Minnesota, teams like that. OKC, how do they look? Harkenstein, they got him there. They added Caruso over there. How does that make them look now? They're feeling confident to make a push and think that they can maintain what they got. So there are other teams there that you have to watch out for. So absolutely, Willie Green's task is going to be a very difficult task. That's why I'm saying in 4 years, it's Willie Green's 4th year. We need to see some big change in Willie Green's philosophy. And that's what I was saying about, I think the team improves because DeJounte Murray raises the IQ of the basketball team. He brings dog mentality here. He's a bona fide leader, and he's a good communicator on the court and off the court. So if you need him to display something, if Willie Green and him are having a dialogue about which plays to run, you don't think DeJounte Murray going to have that conversation with Willie Green on what do you think the right play is going to be? And Willie Green will learn from him, and they'll learn from him. It ain't like a one-way transition. Like all you supposed to do is just learn from your coach. He coaching, you're supposed to learn. No, you're supposed to learn your players too. Learning is not a one-way street. Don't make me start talking relationships in here and I start talking about that old girl and all that. You see what I'm talking about? It's a two-way street. Everything's a two-way street. That's how it flows. That's how the energy and everything in the universe works. It's a two-way street. One goes here, the other one comes here. It's a two-way street. Nothing is one way that's going to last. That's not how it works. So it's a learning period in any setting is a two-way street. It's a give and a get, because if you're the teacher and you're teaching a student, you have to then understand who the student is and how to teach them so they can receive what you're saying. Come on.
Talk, boy.
I'm trying to tell you, man, the bottom line is that for a good teacher to teach his student and make a good student, he has to be able to learn the student and how to communicate with the student so the student get his lesson. Come on.
Talk, boy.
All right. So anyway, big ups to you. Thank you for that, bro. So yeah, it's all on Willie Green, man, to do what he need to do to get where he need to get. And if Willie Green don't get this team deeper into the playoffs, he in trouble, because we know the coach of the future is Borrego. Borrego ready to coach. You don't think the Pelicans know that Borrego's ready to coach, and David Griffin don't have to go into the coaching circles to find his next coach? He sees him. If he's smart and he take the BS goggles off, he can see that the coach of the future is on the team in James Borrego, and how the team looked when Willie was sick with C19 and Borrego got in there, and then that offense caught fire. They got a team, and that's on his back. That's on the team right now. So Willie has to show up or be shown the door. Bottom sign. All right, Tosh says I agree with his talent, but he ain't fixing to bring y'all. See that there? That's just hating. He ain't banging y'all no championship, Q. Oh man. Y'all just greedy with the championships, huh? Y'all just got rings and stuff and don't want nobody else to get them. But guess what? We about to get ours too. Just like y'all got y'all's, we about to get ours. Because guess what? That dude over there that used to work with Michael J. Fox in that movie, y'all know who I'm talking about. That coached that team over there, was yelling out 1,000,000 gigawatts. That guy is getting old. He got one foot on the banana and the other one in retirement. He going to be getting up out of here soon. So whatever championships y'all think y'all trying to get right now, that's all a thing of the past. We about to start getting all these championships right now. You heard me? All right. Sean says, yeah. He said he was drafted when we still had Kyle, who made it to the Western Conference Final Murray's rookie year. So that was the best team. He was okay. All right. Okay. I'll give you that, my brother. I'll give you that one. So y'all are the very least of our worries south. Oh, come on. Come on. Everybody going to be smacking y'all around, man. Let me use your former best player to exemplify my point. That's something wrong with that, family. That's something kind of off about that. We use their former best player to kind of laugh at the Spurs right now. That actually feels good as a Pelican guy to do that. All right. Tasha says, Q, you laughing now. But trust me, we will have the last laugh. Okay, all right, okay. We'll see. You'll see with that guy up there, the million gigawatts guy. The guy used to work with Michael J. Fox and that damn and what would you call it? The DeLorean. He better jump in that goddamn DeLorean and go back in time to figure out, get his youth to be able to compete with us. We on our way, baby. We the future of this thing. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. All right. What's up, Stacey? Says Dave Griffin needs to be on the hot seat. He should be, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. What's up, Lex, baby? How you doing? Says Sean says we will win our 6 before y'all even. Oh, come on, man. Y'all not winning no more, brother. I hate to tell y'all this, brother. Y'all getting a wake up call from diehard Pelican people today. Y'all not 1,000,000 gigawatts about to be up out of here, brother. What, he got a year or two? Brother, up out of here, man. You can't expect that man to keep coaching. What is he, 100 right now? What you expect him to coach till he 102? It won't work, brother. Your man ain't gonna be up there dropping the goddamn board. He gonna be tripping over his own seat. Man, the man 100 right now, brother. He can't win no more games. The man is 100 years old right now. Y'all talking about we got more championships to go. Man, come on. Oh, yeah, man, 100 years old. We about to win some more. No, you're not, brother. Let's just stop the cap. Let's just stop the cap right now, brother. You're not winning no more championship. The man 100 years old right now, brother. What y'all gonna do it in 3 more years when he 103? Hey, listen, respect the Greg Popovich, man. Respect the Greg Popovich, man. Respect, but time has passed. Time marches on. Hey, time marcheth on. He gonna be at the same damn home where Biden at. He be at the same place where Biden is. They're gonna be dropping the pudding on the floor at the same time. Oh, you drop your pudding again? Here you go, Greg Popovich. Here you go. 1,000,000 gigawatts. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. No, it's over with, brother. It's a done data, my friend. It's over with. All right, Stacey, I feel like Zion is the same situation to Marcus Cousins when he was with the Kings, Allen Iverson with the Sixers. I know it's I don't know, we're gonna be all right, fam. I think like I said, it's not the most ideal situation for us to be in, most certainly. But I mean, it is benefit to the situation. If you think about it, you take all of the emotionalism out of it. I think we are in a pretty decent space in terms of that. You know what I'm saying? Like having Brandon Ingram here, you have CJ and them in their proper roles. Let's exemplify that point. Let's make sure we pinpoint that. Them in their proper roles, right? In their proper roles with Murray running the team. That's different. I know we wanted him to be traded, but right now we'll just have to deal with what we got. But DeJounte Murray, making sure CJ's off ball, making sure how we handle BI the right way, Zion doing his thing. Then we rotating in whatever centers we need. It can very well work. And then if we have a deep enough rotation, 5 guys in for the guys, 5 guys we got there, the starters, and because of the fragility of some of our players, man, we can be able to take this thing a lot far, man. But like I said, it's all based on the coach, man. We got to see what's going on there. Yes, indeed. 1 million gigawatts. 1 million. And him and Biden in a nursing home dropping, they putting at the same time. Looking up at the same time, they look at each other and says, "Are you my brother? Are you my brother?" I did 1 million gigawatts. Yeah, man. That dude 100 years old right now. Y'all talk about, man, y'all need to stop the cap. Sean and Tasha, stop the cap right now. I command it. Stop it. You're not going to win. It's our time. We're young. And for you guys, time marcheth on. It's over with. All right. So anyway, let's move on, man. Let me stop messing with Tasha and Sean. All right. Anyway, let's move to this, man. It's time for Grade the Trade. Now, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this one. A 3-team trade to send Brandon Ingram back to the Lakers, land Pelicans a starting center. Grade the trade. Now let's take a look at it here. This is from let's see, what is the guy? Swartz. And this is one of the trades that they threw out at this point in the summer. Fans and writers, blah, 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 blah. Any trade Ingram needs to send a starting caliber center back to the Pels, given the Valanciunas left for Washington in free agency. Newly signed veteran Daniel Tice is a backup, and rookie Yves Massey is still pretty raw. A third team will be needed to facilitate Ingram's return to the Lakers. Now, this is a trade, according to the writer, Greg Swartz, that sends Ingram back to L.A. So what is the trade? Well, let's take a look at it. The deal. Y'all grade the trade. All right, the Portland Trailblazers are an easy choice as a third team to get this deal done with Ayton, Robert Williams III, and rookie Donovan Killigan on the roster. Portland should be willing to part with one of its veteran big men, especially if it means improving on the wing and adding some draft picks in the process. Here's the framework for a 3-team trade and what it would look like. The Lakers will get BI. New Orleans will receive Anthony Simons, Robert Williams III, forward center Christian Wood, and Trailblazers will get Roy Hachimura, Jordan Hawkins, D'Angelo Russell, a 2025 second round pick from the Lakers, a 2025 second round pick from the Clippers. Do you guys grade this trade? Put it in the chat. How do y'all feel about this trade? Grade the trade. Grade the trade. How do y'all feel? The Pels send EBI to the Lakers. The Pelicans receive Anthony Simons, Robert Williams III, and Christian Wood. Trailblazers receive Roy Hachimura, Jordan Hawkins, D'Angelo Russell, and 225 second round picks via the Lakers and the Clippers. Grade the trade. What do y'all give this trade? A, B, C, or D? What do y'all give this trade? Put it in the chat. All right, y'all let me know how y'all feel. All right, Stacy says, shout out to Stacy. What's up, Stacy? How you doing? Says bad trade. Bad trade. All right, grade the trade, fam. Put it in the chat. How y'all feel? Okay, 504 Doc says it's a D. All right, y'all put in an A, B, C, or D. Y'all let me know. All right, now listen. This is and let's go into it. Why they would make the moves? Like, why would this be something that would be interested in doing? Well, let's see. Look at it from the Pelicans' perspective, right? Robert Williams III, Anthony Simons give Pelicans new starting center and 6-man. Pelicans receive Simons, Williams III, and Christian Wood. Pelicans lose BI and Jordan Hawkins. As good as a player as EBI is, the Pelicans no longer need him with Zion. CJ, Trey Murphy III, and now DeJounte Murray all putting the ball in the basket, paying Ingram anywhere close to a max deal, especially with Murphy also extension eligible, will wreck this team financially moving forward, especially with no starting center currently on the roster. Flipping Ingram and Hawkins for a combination of Simons, Williams, and Woods solves a lot of problems in New Orleans, both now and in the future. Williams, who's 26, and started in 97 games at center for the Celtics, making all defensive second team back in 21-22. He's one of the best shot blockers in the NBA and is also on one of the best contracts. He's owed just $12.4 million this season and $13.3 million next year. Plug in Williams in as a defensive force next to Williamson for the next 2 years allows Yves Missi a chance to develop and gives the Pelican starter, gives the New Orleans a starter who's making 8.8% of the salary cap. Simons, who's 25, coming off the best season of his career, he averages 22.6 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 38.5% shooting from three, could be used as a sixth man behind CJ McCollum, or may end up earning the starting job over his former Portland Trailblazer teammate. He's under an extremely reasonable contract of 2 years at $53.6 million, giving the Pelicans another offensive weapon to help offset the loss of BI. Christian Woods, who's 28, is a floor spacing big man who can also eat up center minutes and provide New Orleans with some insurance in case Williams suffers any knee issues. A starting five of Murray, McCollum, Herb Jones, Williamson, and Williams, with Simons, Murphy, Jose, Missi, Tice, and Wood off the bench, would be one of the deepest and most talented teams in the Western Conference. Grade the trade. Grade the trade. Let me hear what you guys think about this potential trade that this writer from Bleacher Report threw down. Y'all let me know. All right, Doc 504 Doc says, and Stace said, Alfred Simons more athletic than CJ McCollum. Tasha says, all I got to say, Q, is make sure you have the lie. Okay, yeah, I certainly will, Tasha. I sure will. We gonna, we ain't gonna run for you. We gonna be here. If anything, we gonna be here. Stacy said Robin Williams and Missi are the same as well. He says F on the trade. Thank you, Stacy. Same players. Thank you there. Bird Talk. What's up, Bird Talk? How you doing, fam? Says F. F no. Okay, I got you. All right. Yeah, y'all grade the trade, family members. Y'all listen. Hit the like button, man. This is one of the things we do. As I put out, there's a ton of trades, man, that's out here. And we always aimed up to get on my timeline. I'm like, man, let me just create a segment called Grade the Trade so we can at least do something with all these trade ideas that just keep coming. I'm like, I'm tired of here. So let me just throw some of these ideas. So I pick one every week to kind of present to the family members to see how this looks to you. So for the family members that haven't quite heard, for Grade the Trade, this is what it looks like. Would you do this trade? Here's what the frame, 3-team trade will look like. Lakers receive BI. The Pelicans get Anthony Simons, Robert Williams III, the former Celtics center, and Christian Wood, who used to play for the Pelicans. Portland Trailblazers get Roy Hachimura, Jordan Hawkins, D'Angelo Russell, and 2 2025 second-round picks via the Lakers and the Clippers. That is the trade. Do you guys go for? Do you want Anthony Simons, Robert Williams III, and Christian Wood on your team? Now, this is my thought. What's up, fam? This is my thought on the trade, right? Now, Anthony Simons is a good player, but Robert Williams III, man, listen, man. I like Robert Williams III. He's from Louisiana. But the thing is, them big guys with them knee issues, man, when he got that knee issue, man, he just went downhill. And I don't think he'll, I would stay away from it. I would say I wouldn't give it an F though, but I would not take this trade. I do like Anthony Simons. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do like him. But Robert Williams there with the knee issues, and Christian Wood can stretch the floor. He's a bit, you need to pick up a little weight. And Christian Wood would actually be a bad option in Willie Green's small offense because he can stretch it, hit the 3-pointer, stuff like that. Very talented offensively. But I don't know. I wouldn't take this trade, fam. I wouldn't take this trade. All right, so this is one of them. All right, let's see. Nord says Nardi UPT. Okay, I got you, bro. I was trying to make it one word. He said, take out Jordan Hawkins. Okay. So if you take Jordan Hawkins out, you'll go for this trade. Okay, thank you, bro. Appreciate you there. All right. The Bird Talk says, I don't want to help the Lakers in no way, shape, or form. I get that. I understand totally. I totally get that. Because if we take Jordan Hawkins and send him, where will Hawkins be going? To the Lakers? No, Portland. He'd be going to the Portland. He would be going to Portland. BI would go back to where he came from. He'd go back to LA. Yeah. So I wouldn't take that, man. I wouldn't take this trade. All right. So anyway, fam, we're going to get ready to leave out on that. Listen, I appreciate y'all for chiming in on this episode of PPR on the weekend, fam. Listen, I will usually do my call-in aspect for today, but I'm kind of, he says, no, keep them. Oh, you said keep. Yeah. I got you, bro. He says, take one out of the trade for Jordan. You want to keep Jordan Hawkins. I got you. All right. So yeah. So yeah, this today, fam, I'm gonna have to, cause I got a very, very busy schedule. So I can't do the call in stream tonight, but I just appreciate all you guys for chiming in. Please feel free to hit the like button. Always feel good to kind of, talk pals with the family members and kind of throw some darts at the Spurs when we can. Yeah, throw some darts at the Spurs. We got to be very mindful of the Spurs. And I think probably toward the middle of the year, we're going to start putting in some Cash App donations to the Spurs organization to buy a wheelchair for Greg Popovich. So that'll be something we'll kind of work on as we go into the season. We'll see if the Pelicans family members, as gracious and as wealthy as they are, want to contribute to a Pelican-styled wheelchair for their senior citizen, Greg Popovich, to kind of help him still coach on the side of the floor. That he wouldn't have to worry about when it's time to leave. You could just roll him up to Coach Willie, could shake his hand, you could turn him around, and then direct him out toward the locker room. We can buy one of those little things. If they got steps that he needs to get up, we can go and get one of those little chairs that you attach to the side of the wall, and he just sits in it, and it just brings him slowly upstairs so he can get to the next level, so it'll be all right. So anyway, with that being said, fam, we're going to get out all that. I appreciate you guys for chiming in. Please feel free to it just feels wrong, man. The talk about the Spurs and make Kawhi Leonard laugh as I'm talking about Spurs. Hey, but you know what? It make me happy. It make my pal family happy. So it's all right. It's all good. All right, y'all. I'm up out of here, man. Y'all have a fantastic rest of y'all day. I'm gonna holler at y'all on the next one. Much love and go Bears.
Show us the edge. Yes. The chip on the shoulders, the fight and the passion that comes from within. Whoa. Try to win on every level. Yeah. Expectations high. Gotta show them you can fly. Play harder, better, smarter. Baby, put the league on notice. Show me the edge, play with the edge, show me the edge, play with the edge, show me the edge, show me the edge, yeah. Whoa, and see the walk of shame enough. Wanna see the walk of winning time to come up and bring out the outlaw. Don't every play, every possession. How bad you want it, love, do you want it all? This ain't a blood of love, built for something greater. Attacking all obstacles, coming for the ring, my precious. You got the juice, the will, the heart, the fire. Show 'em the proof, show 'em that it shall be done. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network. For all things Pelicans.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop. TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. So check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.